If we don't fight back against this liberal tyranny, which really it is, then they just win.
We can't figure out how to fix stupid. How can you figure out that if you put the same people that have the same policies, that it's going to be any different?
This election is the most consequential of our lifetime. Between generations, they are going to choose how our nation will be defined in the road ahead.
I know my children don't see much hope in Canada. One of them has even spoken about leaving Canada. I'm here for my kids and the burden that they have to share now.
I happen to be a friend of Mark Carney's. I had lunch with him a week before he was elected leader of the Liberal Party, but he knows I don't believe in his politics. I like the man, not his politics. The difference is with Pierre Poilievre, I like the man and I love his politics.
Do you think balkanization is on the ballot?
Yes, to a certain degree.
Don't defund the CBC. Just put Ezra in charge.
I think they're trying to say that we're the bad guy, and I don't think we are. I mean, we're in this together. We're all Canadians, and we want the best for Canada.
Sidney Fazard for Rebel News, coming to you again from Calgary, Alberta. This time, we're here at Pierre Poilievre's rally. It's only days before Canada's federal election. I'm going to tell you a little bit about each party really quick, and then we're going to see what these people have to say about Pierre Poilievre and their vision for Canada. First, we have the People's Party of Canada and their leader, Maxime Bernier, who I interviewed in a previous report while he was in Calgary campaigning. You can check that out at campaign2025.com. Do you think this is going to be the election where we get to see a People's Party of Canada member of Parliament?
I hope so. I'm working hard for that.
Next, we have the Green Party. Now, they've been around for a while, but this time, it seems like they're actively removing their candidates from certain ridings in order to give Conservatives a loss.
They decided to not run candidates in about 15 ridings for strategic reasons, Adrian, so that they didn't split the vote and get more Conservatives elected.
Then we have the new Democratic Party led by Jagmeet Singh attempting to tank his own party again in order to give the Liberals a leg up in this election.
That's us. That's New Democrats, and we're going to jump together at the chorus. When the chorus comes, I want this floor to shake. I want the floor to shake, okay? Yeah.
Then we have Mark Carney, leader of the Liberal Party of Canada, who also made a stop in Calgary. We were there for that as well. And again, go to campaign2025.com to see that. Mark Carney, why should Canadians trust that you don't have any financial conflicts? Why should they blindly trust you? And finally, we have the Conservative Party of Canada, led by Pierre Poilievre, who behind us is having a rally, his first rally in Calgary for this campaign. We're going to get in there. We're going to talk to some of these people to see what they think about the Conservative platform. What is the most important reason for you to be here today?
A belief in the change that Canada needs. And I really do believe in Pierre. I've known him for a decade. Not a week, not a month, a decade. I'm a huge believer.
Vote. I mean, this is a part of the country that is dealing with the issue of one generation being pitted against another. This is a part of the country that contributes so much to our national energy, life, and our ingenuity. This is a part of the country in which there's so much on the line. And so for the next few days, the big objective is vote. Make sure you vote. If you care about unlocking the potential of this country, get out and make a difference by making your voice heard.
We need a change in our country. We need to give our children a chance to get good jobs and make their way.
It's really important, especially as youth.
Because this is the most important election of our lifetime, and we need to build support and momentum for Pierre.
Why do I love oil and gas? Because it feeds my family.
If we don't fight back against this liberal tyranny, which really it is, then they just win. So we have to show our support and also to show other Canadians that we're really serious about this, and we're serious about the vote, and we're serious about the direction we want Canada to go. And we really need Canada to go in the direction of prosperity and hope, and not this Trump fear.
We can't figure out how to fix stupid. How can you figure out that if you put the same people that have the same policies, that it's going to be any different?
You just told me you're a new voter, and I guess you're at the Poilievre event, so you voted Conservative?
Of course, man. You know how to vote Conservative, man. It's about the new generation, man. Crime's going up. Everything's kind of just getting messed up. I mean, I'm going into uni in September. Last year, I couldn't even get in. I had all the right grades, and they didn't even let me into university, you know? I understand, yeah, like all the immigrants that are coming in, yeah, I understand. It's pretty good, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you gotta help. You gotta look out for the young generation too, man.
This election is the most consequential of our lifetime. Between generations, they are going to choose how our nation will be defined in the road ahead. I know people are making big decisions in the next few days. I wish them obviously well in that decision, but I say choose change, choose Canada, choose your kids, and don't back down. Make sure you go vote.
What is the most important issue on the ballot this time around?
Economy, immigration, homes, housing prices, and taxation.
Build up the military. It's all about freedom.
The affordability issues, mostly caused by overtaxation.
The economy to ensure that the young people have an opportunity that we've had. And currently, as it is now, I know my children don't see much hope in Canada. One of them has even spoken about leaving Canada. So I'm here for my kids, right? And the burden that they have to share now.
There's a lot. Obviously, the economy, obviously, crime and public safety. Honestly, the future of our country, really. This election is very important, and without a Conservative win, I don't want to know what we look like in 4 years.
And you look at Vancouver, you look at West and East Hastings Street, like it's the drug capital, right? Decriminalizing all those hard drugs. It's getting bad, man. Like I know someone that lost their life to a fentanyl overdose. It's crazy. Like for me, being a conservative, it's like I want to, be a part of something. Like Canada has to change regardless.
In your opinion, when you contrast Pierre's economic plan versus Carney's, what do you see?
I don't see an economic plan in Carney. I happen to be a friend of Mark Carney's. I had lunch with him a week before he was elected leader of the Liberal Party, but he knows I don't believe in his politics. I like the man, not his politics. The difference is with Pierre Poilievre, I like the man and I love his politics. He believes in infrastructure. He believes in natural resources. He doesn't believe that climate change is really part of our frontline issues relative to carbon tax, for example. If we want to reduce emissions, we have to help the planet reduce its emissions. And we do that by growing, not by shrinking. And that's why we need Pierre.
Let's say Pierre Poilievre wins this election. But that'll mean that he'll be representing us at the G7 in Kananaskis this year. What kind of message do you want to hear coming from him at the G7?
He's always been saying Canada is going to be the freest and most prosperous country in the world. And so, we've got a lot to do between now and Monday, and that's where my focus is 100%. But I know that the promise of Canada that he's seeking to restore is one that would be an energy superpower, one that would be a critical ally, economic partner in a time in which the world really does need more Canada. We can't afford to pursue the ideological projects of the Davos crowd anymore. We have to act on our national interests. And with Pierre Poilievre as Prime Minister, I don't question the fact that we would act on our national interests as a good partner and a good ally.
It's not just about the past. It's about the future. We know the Liberals have published this document. Has anybody had a chance to have a look at this? It's called Policy Horizons. This really is the Liberal platform right here. This is what the government of Canada predicts that life will look like in 15 years if things continue on their current track. They say social mobility will be almost unheard of in Canada. People will no longer be able to get ahead through their hard work, and more likely, they will be falling behind. In 2040, owning a home is simply not realistic, they predict. They further go on to say that the economy could shrink and become even less predictable. Finally, they say that we'll be headed towards an aristocracy. That's their word, not mine. As money and wealth are concentrated in the hands of a shrinking class of privileged insiders. And it will get so bad, they say, that people will no longer be able to afford to go to a grocery store. They'll have to hunt, fish, and forage on public lands in violation of government regulations just to stay alive. My friends, this is what the Liberals say they have in store for us.
Well, how do you think Canada would look if we had another 10 years of Liberal government?
I think Canada will change. I think ideology between Eastern Canada and Western Canada is so profound that there's no middle ground anymore. There's the unwillingness of Eastern Canada to be fair within the Confederation. So 10 years' time, I don't see a confederation. I see two solitudes.
So do you think balkanization is on the ballot?
Yes, to a certain degree.
We're in Alberta. right?
Yes.
So most of the votes are going to be counted by the time they get through Ottawa and Quebec. Do you feel like your Alberta vote really matters in this election?
I do. Yeah. It's to send a message to Ontario and to send a message to Quebec that, you know, we're part of this country too. And what is wrong with having a Canadian Conservative government?
Absolutely, I am concerned because there is a bias against Alberta. Almost it feels like it's intentional.
Well, I think that Pierre actually cares about the entire country. I think he's concerned about the West, not just the East.
We are the West, and the West stands strong. We have Saskatchewan, we've got hopefully BC, and if they all want to go against us, it's the split.
Well, yeah, I mean, our federation is dominated by what the people around Toronto and Montreal want. There's lots of ways that we could make that better. But it's very hard to convince politicians to change the system because whatever system got them elected, why would they want to tinker with that?
Now, as an Alberta member of Parliament, when you contrast Poilievre's energy decision-making policies and Carney's and the initiatives that he wants to take, what's the biggest difference in these two pursuits?
One is to keep it in the ground, and the other is to unlock trillions of dollars of resource wealth, give Canadians an opportunity to have a stake in that success, create jobs and prosperity. One is about a middling Canada in decline, according to the PCO, the central bureaucracy's own forecast of what will happen if you continue with the Carney plan. It's devastation, with people foraging in parks. It's insane. The other is about a strong, confident, rising Canada as a major power in the world, acting adult and delivering what Canadians expect that their government should. It's a clear decision point.
Would you have 2 seconds for... All right, thank you so much. Right now, it seems like a lot of the mainstream media and a lot of hardcore liberal supporters, they almost have a hatred for the Conservatives.
Absolutely.
What do you think they have wrong about the Conservative movement?
Honestly, I think they're brainwashed. I think a lot of them are just so focused on Trump, when we should be talking about Canada instead. And that's what I think, honestly. And I don't understand the aggression. I don't understand the fingers and the aggression and all that going on, but I don't know, I guess people just do their own thing.
All my friends take my picture, pal. Get the fuck out of here.
I think they have everything wrong. I honestly, after the last 10 years, I can't understand what would drive a person to vote for the Liberals in this election. I mean, they basically changed signatures on their spending plan, and now everything's good again. Yeah. Well, no, it's not.
They just want to keep power, and whatever they can do to do that, they're going to do,
Making enemies of our national brothers and sisters.
100%, yeah.
I think they're trying to say that we're the bad guy, and I don't think we are. I mean, I'm not saying that they are the bad guy. I'm just saying that we're got values that and morals that we really stand for, and they need to give them a chance. We're in this together. We're all Canadians, and we want the best for Canada.
You don't have the party that you're supporting. You're supporting the man. You're supporting the man.
Don't fucking touch me ever again.
They're underestimating us and they're lumping us together. The mindset of the Liberal campaign is that if you're conservative, somehow you're ignorant or you're uninspired or you're fearful or you're willing to listen to their lies about fearfulness. And I think that's the difference, is that the Conservative Party so far and the Conservative members, I mean, look around here. This is a diverse group of people as Canadians. And what the Liberals are forgetting about is that we're trying to think about not the next year or 3 years with Trump. We're trying to think the next 4 years, 10 years, 20 years, 100 years with Canada.
So you're in my way. So now you got to get out of my way.
You are so full of shit,
okay,
that it's coming out your ears.
I think a lot of it is to do with intellectualism, and I think a lot of it is to do with sort of the left-wing policies that are taught to the youth of today in universities, and the way they shut down free speech. That's really an essence right there, because there's a lot of young people that are misguided. They're not given a balanced view. They're not taught to critically think issues. You have to accept everything carte blanche. Like, the media seems to follow that time. Like, you can't discuss these things anymore. You can't discuss climate change. And why can't open it up? As soon as you question it, you say you're an anti-climber, and I just don't like that. I don't like that type of thinking.
It was sad that came out of that debate, which was a good debate, and it was a healthy dialogue, and it was a good discussion,
But what were a lot of the headlines about today? It was about the aftermath. It was about the fact that these illegitimate organizations that frame themselves as news organizations took up all of this time and energy and posing questions and lining up.
Well, because they're bought and paid for by the Liberal Party, by the federal government. So yeah, of course, their messaging is much different than the reality on the ground.
The media is supposed to be nonpartisan, but they're not.
If I'm getting my funding from the government, why am I going to bite the hand that feeds me?
I think they do a lot of fear mongering, especially if you watch like the mainstream media. They try to equivocate Pierre to something nasty and negative. Whereas if you actually listen to him and hear him speak, which is why all these people are here, he's very articulate, very smart. He has a lot of hope for our country. He loves our country. He wants it to be better. He doesn't like the Liberal nonsense and the harm they've been doing for the last decade. And if we continue to vote for a Liberal government like that, it's only going to get worse.
Don't defund the CBC. Just put Ezra in charge.
If you had a message for people that were undecided or for people that are leaning towards, the Liberals or NDP, what would your message to them be?
My core concern is that the last 10 years got us nowhere. And so unless you vote Conservative, you're not going to see change. You're just going to see more of what took Canada down.
And last word to you for anything you want to add.
I love being present with people who believe in change.
Well, you heard what they had to say. Let us know in the comments what you think about who will be Canada's next Prime Minister. One thing, though, is for certain. Change is on the ballot. For Rebel News, I'm Sidney Fizzard. Campaign2025.com is where you have to go if you want to see the other side of the story. Be an informed voter by going to campaign2025.com.